Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be discussing my theories for the Flash Season 8, what I think we're going to be going with this graphic novel that we're in right now. If you enjoyed the video, hit the button down below, subscribe if you're new, notifications on, and I'm going to comment down below your theories for the rest of the season, and let's get right into the video. So, this graphic novel is horrifying, scary, and intense as hell. I think we can all feel that, especially in the last episode. When we actually figured out that the black flame that we've been dealing with for the past two episodes is a thing that's killing these people. It's not really remote control or anything, or someone's controlling it. The flame is the killer. But I still believe there's something or someone a part of that. Now, the first thought that came to my mind, and I saw people think this too, was that it's Ronnie, and that the flame is Ronnie Raymond. But you have to think about it, Ronnie's flames, even Deathstorm's flames, were orange and red. They were never black. So, unless, like, this is a whole new version of Ronnie from a different world that got put on Earth Prime, I don't see how it could be Ronnie. Now, let's assume it is, right? Some way, somehow, I'm sure the show will explain if it is Ronnie. Let's say it is Ronnie. Why is he just fire? There's no way he would just do it to protect his identity. He clearly doesn't care about that. So it doesn't make sense unless it's like a Hannibal Bay situation. Now, if you don't remember Hannibal Bay, he was a season 1 villain where if he touched someone, he kept transforming into these different people. Now, this flame thing or person, whatever, he doesn't touch people and just become them. He makes up the fire to become that person. But how it connects, possibly, is Hannibal Base kept changing to so many different people that he forgot how he originally looked. Like, he became this, like, dead person, pretty much. He looked like a completely different person than what he's supposed to be because he didn't remember his original form. He didn't look how he looked like before he started changing. So I'm wondering, even if this isn't Ronnie, maybe this flame thing, whatever the hell it is, if there is a person in the flame that's actually, like, split apart throughout all these, like, fires and all that, maybe it's because that person doesn't remember what he looked like, or she, we're all assuming it's a he, I'm pretty sure it's a he, but whatever it is, if it is a person, what if that person doesn't remember what it looked like, so it just decides to be a flame all the time, and when it needs to turn to a person, it turns to a person. We don't actually know that, but it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Like in 809, we saw Chester's dad appear through the flames that made itself into Chester's dad to try to kill Chester. If Chester touched that, he would have died. There's no doubt in my mind that he would have died from that fire if it's as powerful as nuclear fusion fire. And we've seen that. I mean, they kill bodies like that. There's not a millisecond that go by without them burning to death. So you would have to assume this is how this thing that's eating off of grief is killing these victims by turning itself into people that would, believe it, like the person with their sister or whatever. That thing probably turned into that person's sister and just killed her in 809. You would have to assume that's what it is. Now, the victim in 808, it didn't look like a person. It was at the view angle of the fire just going towards the guy. But you would have to think, why? I mean, there would have to be something connected. Now, obviously this thing is drawn towards grief. So obviously he was grieving or heartache or whatever. And I know Joe said that at the end of the last episode. I don't remember what it was for him. But you would have to think this thing is just creating itself into a certain human being to trick these people, which is what it looks like it's doing. So, again, I bring up the point with his Hannibal Bay situation where he keeps changing so much, he doesn't remember what he actually looks like. Now, if it's Ronnie, I guess we would never really know if it's Ronnie, unless he turns into a human or forms into a human and comes to Team Flash and says, I'm Ronnie Raymond, but he doesn't know what he looks like anymore because he's changed so much. I mean, that would be it. I could see it going good. I could see it going very bad. If the writers do it well, which I believe they would, they could do it very, very well. But it's for that exact reason why I don't think it's Ronnie. I don't see that being Ronnie. Could it be? Yes. Is it connected in several ways? Yes. And they've teased Ronnie a couple times throughout this season. But I don't necessarily see it being Ronnie. Now, whether or not these are connected, we did get 5 episode titles for the future season stuff. So if you don't want to be spoiled for the titles, which they aren't really spoilers, you can see them on your own. But for whatever reason, you don't want to be spoiled for that. You want to see it when the episode airs. There's a timestamp on this video. You can skip ahead to the next portion of the video, or whatever portion you want to skip ahead to. So this came out a couple hours ago today. At the point in time you guys are seeing this, came out a couple hours ago. 8/12 is titled Death Rises. 8/13 is titled Death Falls. And 8/14 is Funeral for a Friend. And then 8/15 is Into the Still Force. And 8/16 is The Curious Case of Bartholomew Allen, which is obviously Barry. Now, 8/15 and 16 are going to be Interlude Part 2 of the season, or Part 3 in total. 8/14, we knew there was a funeral scene in, and we knew it was the final part of this graphic novel. Now, the two things that are getting me is 8/12, which is titled Death Rises, and 8/13, which is titled Death Falls. So you would have to wonder if this thing actually comes out to be Ronnie. We're going to figure that out in 8/12. I don't think in 8/10 or 11, I don't remember what the episode titles were, and I'd have to come back and look at that. Okay, so I just paused the recording there. I wanted to look at these two titles. 8/10 is titled Reckless, and 8/11 is titled Resurrection. You would think if there's going to be some type of resurrection here, Ronnie coming back in 8/11 would fit. It would fit. If it's titled Resurrection, Ronnie coming back, it would fit perfectly. Now, the description for 8/11 is Barry and Chester may have found a way to stop the Black Flame from hurting anyone else. Meanwhile, Caitlin decides to handle the situation on her own, possibly putting more innocent lives in danger. Now, this is, again, related to this thing, the Black Flame, but it's titled Resurrection. So, if it's... this could go either way. But the way I see it going, if someone's coming back, it would 100% be Ronnie, and I don't see it being the Flame. I see the Flame either A, turning itself into Ronnie to get to Kate, or Frost, or both, because they've both been connected to Ronnie, so maybe Frost feels that same way, but we know Kate definitely does. So I think that could be easily used against Caitlin, or the Flame is actually Ronnie, and the episode's title Resurrection because he comes back and is the Flame. But honestly, I don't know. I think it's more likely that the Flame makes itself into Ronnie, and the Flame isn't actually Ronnie. That's how I see it. I don't know, though. Are there so many clues pointing towards that? Yes. But the thing is that Ronnie never, ever, not even Deathstorm, which was the complete opposite of our Ronnie, had Black Fire. So it wouldn't be our Ronnie. It would be a whole new Ronnie if this is going to make any sense. And Ronnie, spoiler alert, couldn't just shapeshift. So I don't see that being the case. So we're going to stop talking about episode titles, because I know some people would most likely complain that I'm talking about that. So for those who skipped ahead, welcome back to the video. I don't know if it's Ronnie. All we know is that he's coming back, and it was the funeral scene in 8/14, and it's the finale of the graphic novel. And then we have 4 episodes after that, roughly. We have no idea what's going on for the rest of the season. All we know is there's 18 total. It could have changed. We don't know. From what Eric Wallace is saying, we're getting through 3 interlude episodes, and then 8/18 is the finale. And it's not a filler episode or whatever. It's a full-on finale. So you would think either A, 8/14 is the ending in the graphic novel, or this goes on to 8/18. Now, what would be the side effects of that? 8/15, 8/16, and 8/17, we would be dealing with Team Flash and Barry. I would assume Barry would be in all 3 of these, or 2 of the 3, where this big bad isn't mentioned really at all. Maybe he goes off the grid, and he comes back in 8/18, and Barry stops him. I don't know. I don't get why they're putting 3 interlude episodes before a finale. It makes no sense to me. But I don't see why they would just end a graphic novel, go 3 more interlude episodes, and then say, hey, here's the finale. No, it has to be somehow, some way connected to this graphic novel, The Black Flame, unless it is legitimately longer than 18 episodes and they changed it last minute to where it's like 22 or something to fit in another graphic novel. I could see that. Could it happen? Probably not, but I guess we'll find out later in the season. But I'm really curious to find out if it's Ronnie. Like I said, I don't think it is. If it is Ronnie, I would be honestly surprised. I wouldn't be shocked, I'd be surprised. If it wasn't Ronnie, and I do think the flames would make themselves appear as Ronnie, I don't think it is Ronnie. Because again, Ronnie's flames were never black, and he can never turn himself into other people. He never had those abilities. Hell, even Jax never had those abilities. And he was more advanced in Firestorm than Ronnie was. He was a longer Firestorm than Ronnie was with Stein. And you would have to assume, like, Stein would somehow, some way think, oh, if you could turn yourself into another person, you would do it. I'm pretty sure they even mentioned at one point that Ronnie couldn't do that. Or Firestorm alone couldn't do that. That's not possible. So, I mean, unless they're really going to continue with this level up thing, and Ronnie's seriously leveled up, and this is our Ronnie, then I guess it would work, but they have to really explain it well. That's how I see it, and I have no idea where they're going to go with it. I am really hooked on this storyline, and I really do like it. But all we know is we're getting Ronnie back, and there's a funeral in 8/14, which we've known for a while. So, you know, someone's obviously going to die, right? On Team Flash. Maybe it's Ronnie. I mean, if Ronnie comes back and he's being quote-unquote resurrected, and then he dies again, or the flame is Ronnie, and the only chance they have is for Ronnie to kill himself to stop it, because he realizes how bad it is, or it's taking him over or something, so they hold a funeral for Ronnie. That's the only way I could see that going. I don't see how they could kill off Chester, Allegra, Frost, Caitlin, let alone Barry and Iris. I mean, they're not killing off Iris. We know that. They can't kill off Joe, because why would they? That makes no sense. They already killed Joe off this season. I don't see them killing off Joe again. That makes no sense. So, I think the best possible explanation would either be Sue or Ronnie. We just got Sue back. She's going to be in this couple episodes probably, so maybe Sue dies? But it's by the Black Flame, and Iris and Sue are right now in Coast City, and they're going to be staying there for a while. So, and the funeral's in Central City, because everyone's there. So, I don't know. You would have to assume that Ronnie comes back and dies. Whether he's the Flame that's doing all this, or the Flame resurrects Ronnie and kills him again. I don't know. I really don't know where it's going to go, but like I said, I'm hooked on it. So let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Have a good night. Stay safe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.